The idea of jumping out of a perfectly good plane that has no problems and can land without issue confuses me. People do it for a thrill. Some do it professionally. Me? I hope I never have to. But what happens when things don't go to plan or the unexpected happens while on a plane? We'll hear the remarkable stories of people who've fallen or jumped out of a plane without a parachute, or the parachute has failed and survived on this week's episode of Cheeky Tales. That's dark.
Yeah. That is pretty dark. You know, I've gone skydiving, boy.
Have you?
I have.
That's actually something I don't know about. Oh, that was one of the questions I've got right here. Look, on my script, I say, banter. Hi, boy. How are you? I always have banter written in under intro music.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did it when I was 18, I want to say.
Hang on. And then the next line I have, do you want to skydive? Fear of flying. So, yeah, so you've been skydiving. You were 18. Was it like your 18th present?
No, it was somebody else's birthday. And
they didn't want to go, so here's my present.
No, they were like, I want to go skydiving. And they organised a whole bunch of people to go.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure you were there.
No.
You might have been there, but you might not have sky jumped. Sky jumped? All right.
No.
Skydived.
I literally just said I never want to do it. I was not there, boy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That might have been before I met you.
It was.
Oh.
That was pre-bromance.
Yeah. Boymance.
Boymance. Very good.
Yeah, no. It was certainly interesting. I got strapped to a very small Russian man.
Okay.
Who he might have been playing it up for me, but I'm pretty sure he didn't understand some parts of the English language.
Confidence building.
Yeah, and like he was tiny. He was like at least maybe only 3/4 of my height. So he might have been like 5 foot-ish.
They couldn't see over your shoulder as he's strapped to your back.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're in the plane,
just tell me when the ground's getting close.
when you're in the plane,
I could mental image. You're in the plane, right? You're Luke Skywalker, and you got Yoda strapped to your back.
That's kind of what it felt like. And so we're in the plane, and like it's like you kind of sitting in front of them. You're kind of attached. You're not really. And I'm like, oh, I should ask if it hurts. Like, does it hurt when the parachute goes off? And so I'm like, hey, dude, does it hurt when the parachute goes off? And he's like, does it what? I'm like, does it hurt? And he looks to the guy next to him. He's like, what's he saying? He's like, hurt. Like, is it painful when it goes off? And he's like, oh, no. I'm like, I don't trust you. And so, yeah, this little tiny Russian man bumps me out of the airplane because, like, he's on your back, basically. So he's, like, thrusting me out of the plane. I get to the...
His hips, bit of hip thrusting.
Yeah, he thrusts me out. And...
It's not necessary.
John, I bit my lower lip as I did it. But it was... So you watch a whole bunch of people jump out first because, like, all the individual skydivers dive out first.
Yep. Dump out.
Yeah, they dump out. And it was my girlfriend at the time's birthday, and she and her friend dumped out before me. And so, like, you're sitting in this airplane watching, like, people dive out.
Yeah.
And then your girlfriend gets dumped out, and you're like, oh, now it's my turn to dump out. And this little Russian man thrusts you towards a window, and the first thing they tell you is don't grab onto, like, the plane. And of course, I get bumped towards the open door of this plane.
Grab on.
Everything. I'm geckoing. I'm just everything. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm not supposed to do that. And then you get thrust out of the plane and you're like hanging there by the straps to the guy behind you outside of a plane, like, ah! And then you dive and everything gets forgotten. It's so much fun.
Cool.
And then you just stare at the ground as it all just shakes.
Oh, really? You don't really get to see too much or?
Oh, you do. But like you're falling. So like you...
Did you get ground rush? That's something I don't bring up, but I know apparently it's a thing.
Like when you get on the ground, you're like, oh, that was amazing.
No, as in it looks like you're really far up and then all of a sudden it's like the ground rushes at you. It can't
no, I don't remember that.
Because it looks like you're not really falling and then all of a sudden it gets really close.
No, I remember that the air was like crazy thick when I got on the ground.
Yeah, right.
It was like breathing soup.
Yeah, because it's much thinner up higher.
Yeah, and because the plane's not pressurized, so you're like,
Yeah, right.
yeah. Anyway, that was a long-winded story.
No, that was good. Well, that was good. That was part of the banter. So what I was going to bring up was
The Bengals losing.
no, I wasn't going to bring that up.
Got him.
It was related to the episode. We'll get to that. What I was going to bring up is my drone.
Yeah. I forgot you had a drone.
Yeah, I got a little drone. When it's just the perspective is really weird. Like so, with regulations and stuff, it can only go up to 110 meters. So I take the thing up. I think it's actually 110 feet. Anyway,
Yeah.
I take the thing up, say 100 meters. Stuff is small. Like
Yeah.
100 meters up is really high.
Yeah.
But you stand at the end of a football field and you look 100 meters, it's not that far. But 100 meters up, it's so high. Like it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
just the way things change in height. Like I said, you wouldn't think 100 meters is far. But if I was to show you a picture looking down at like houses and stuff like that, you're just like, whoa. Well, that ruins kind of the rest of the questions I had for you, like times on a plane, stuff like that. You've had a skydiving experience. It's like
Yeah.
perfect for this episode.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really relate to is the flying lesson I had for my birthday.
Yeah. I want to
couple
do
years
that.
ago.
I reckon that'd be so fun.
So yeah, it was just an introduction.
Was that a couple years ago?
Well, it wasn't last birthday. It was the birthday before. So
That feels like not that long ago.
yeah, a year and a half ago. So it's just an introductory flight lesson. You go in and they get you to fly the plane and see if you like it and if you want to come back. It was pretty cool. That was, yeah. So I had no plans of getting out of that plane. So, but yeah.
Even when it landed, he's still in it now.
I wish.
That's why there's no face reveal.
I wish I could afford to keep doing it. It was really cool.
Mm.
So, yeah, do you want to get into it? Do you want to hear? The structure for today's episode is I have 8 shorter stories.
That's more than 7.
Shorter stories of the top 8 distances people have fallen
Okay.
and survived.
Okay.
So,
Are you going in ascending or descending list?
What a pun. I'm going in ascending.
Okay.
So the first one,
Hang on.
I thought you just did your pun.
Pull that cord, baby.
Yeah, good one. The first person we're going to talk about is James Bull.
Bull.
Yeah.
Like bull as in bull with horns?
No, Boole. Bull.
Oh, okay.
He is the lowest distance on my list, coming in at 6,000 feet or 1,829 meters.
That's a baby jump.
Yeah, what jump did you jump at?
14,000.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, we've
Big
got
boy jump.
we've got some underneath and some over that. His incident occurred in 2009. I guess James is one of those people you would consider a professional.
Okay.
At the time,
Well, apparently not.
yeah. Well, you wait.
He
You
forgot the most important rule of skydiving. Pull the chute.
have you heard this story?
No.
Your gut check
I'm
is
on
right.
it today.
You are right on the money.
I'm feeling hot.
At the time, he had been involved in the sport for 12 years and completed about 2,500 jumps. And at that time, he was doing
Whoa.
about 4 or 5 jumps a week.
That's a lot of jumps.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing I know about like skydivers. They do a lot of jumps.
Yeah, they do it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. James was working on a documentary, filming another person as they jumped,
Okay.
who he referred to as the athlete.
Okay.
That's literally in the research. Like when he was telling his story, he just like, oh yeah,
the athlete.
Yep, the athlete. I'm like, okay, it's weird, but
Yeah.
whatever. Moving on.
Okay.
They were in. Oh, this is one of these names. I forgot. This is because this is the first story I wrote. I forgot. I've got all the other names. Forgotten this one. Kamchatka.
Kamchatka.
You know the place.
Well, I don't know it. I just know the name because it's fun.
Okay, Kamchatka, Russia.
Of course, it's Russia.
Yeah, known as the land of fire and ice.
Okay.
This place is covered in snow 9 months of the year and has about 40 active volcanoes.
Yep.
So the plane was, well, actually, I've got plane on the mind. So the plan was to jump from a helicopter at 6,000 feet, fly past some columns of steam and open the parachute at about 150 to 200 meters.
Okay.
That was the plan.
All right. Obviously, he's not gone to plan.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be talking about this story if that's what happened.
Yeah.
In an interview, James said he was very focused on filming, having a viewfinder over his left eye. He said it was very difficult to gauge distances because he only had one eye and the snow covering the volcanoes, everything was just white.
Mm.
So very similar to
white
our
out.
last episode.
Yeah.
Quite suddenly, he said, he noticed the texture of the snow and ice, meaning he only had about 2 or 3 seconds left before hitting the ground.
Oh, geez.
So as he's looking, he's suddenly gone, I can see the texture of the snow and ice. Crap, I'm really low.
Okay.
He
How
guessed,
did he not, like when the other people, because the other people pulled their chute, obviously.
yeah, the athlete pulled his chute. And
Why did he not just go, all right, time to pull the chute?
I guess he was filming the athlete, and then as he's gone off, he's continued to film like the steams of the columns of steam, and
Right, okay.
he guessed he was.
So there's a video of this.
Actually, I never looked that up, but
There
there
must
should be,
Yeah.
unless the camera was,
Destroyed, yeah.
which is quite possible. He guessed he was about 20 meters off the ground. He then described that terror gripped his heart and stomach. You know that feeling? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an awful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a clear thought about his wife and 3-month-old daughter and became overwhelmed with sadness as he felt the parachute lift from his back. He had opened it instinctively, like when you slam on the brakes of a car.
Yeah.
He experienced a brief sense of hope and thought, this is going to hurt a lot or it's not going to hurt at all.
Yeah.
The parachute barely unfurled and swung his legs up above his body like a child on a swing. And then he impacted the ground, which sent him unconscious for a few seconds.
Ass first.
Ass first.
He broke his ass, didn't he? He's broken his ass.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
Not quite. He's landed on his back, but yeah.
Yeah.
So like when the kids swing and the legs go up.
Yeah.
So his feet are pointing to the sky and he's impacted actually on his back.
Yeah, butt first.
Yeah. As he opened his eyes, he described 2 emotions flooded him. Elation for surviving, then black, jagged fear.
Yeah.
He was certain he had broken his back
Yeah, of
as
course.
he felt immense pain in his spine.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of people there, crew members, mountain guides, and the mountain guides were the ones trained in first aid, and a stretcher was also present. A helicopter was sent to pick him up, but it took a little while for it to find a safe spot to land nearby.
Yeah.
James had made a 1 meter deep crater in the snow.
Ooh.
He began to get very cold and one of his lungs had started filling with blood.
Okay, as you might expect.
At this point, he thought he was going to die again and
Yep.
decided to give a message to one of the crew who spoke the best English
Okay.
to pass on to his family. It took another hour to get to the local hospital where a diagnosis wasn't possible, and then another 9 hours to get to Moscow where a CT scan was possible. There, it was confirmed his back was indeed broken, but the good news here was that the fracture was stable and there was no neural damage. After flying back to the UK for the rest of his treatment, he was up and walking a week later, and just over a little 6 months from that, he was back to jumping out of planes.
Wow. And to think it was just he forgot.
He was preoccupied,
Yeah.
carried away doing something else.
Wow.
That's remind us that's something we have to look up at the end of the episode if there is video of it, because
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
honestly something I never did. So that was number 8. That was the bottom one.
Was it? It was James, right?
James. Yep.
James, the ass first skydiver.
Oh, you're funny. Yeah, you're gonna love the next one too.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna skip the 7th highest one now
Okay.
because it's a
Womp womp.
really interesting story. So big finish and all.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Gonna go to Christine McKenzie.
Okay.
A little title there. I've got each little section is the name of the person. So I've got some titles. Adam.
So, yeah, Adam, last week when I said John will definitely get titles, I was right.
Well, they're just names, but
And everyone, if you could flood socials with Adam was right.
Adam was right.
Hashtag Adam was right.
So Christine McKenzie has a very similar story to James.
Yep.
She was skydiving at Johannesburg Skydiving Club in 2004 when her parachute failed. She fell from 11,000 feet or 3,350 meters.
Soft. Jump from 14 or nothing.
I guess it's different over there, or who knows. So did you jump out of a plane or a helicopter?
Plane.
Plane, right, yep. So she was actually trying out the sitting position on this jump.
Okay.
Now,
What is the sitting position?
Well, I looked this up because I figured you were going to ask. Apparently, it builds up a lot of speed.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like you're just bowling yourself up.
Well, you're actually just sitting. So they say terminal velocity of a person is about 120 miles per hour or 193 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And that's in the arch position, which I'm assuming you would have done, like belly first, your arms are out. That is the normal position you see people skydive because, well, it's the easiest to keep stable. You've got to be like
It was actually surprisingly easy to maneuver in the air.
Yeah.
You just like turn your arms a bit and you move.
So, so you got to be like, I guess, symmetrical. So you're not spinning in the air.
I'll tell you what, you spin fast if you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's why, that's what the arch position is for.
Yeah.
It's the most stable position. So the sitting position is actually an advanced technique because it's much harder to get symmetrical. But it also increases your speed from 10 to 20%. So taking that velocity up to around 140 miles per hour.
Yes, because speed is what you want when you're plummeting towards the planet.
Yeah, so just imagine you're like sitting on the toilet and you've braced your arms out because you've got a big one coming. That's the position while you're plummeting.
So you're dumping out while you fall.
Yep. Dumping out while you dump.
Dump, you dump.
So Christine had just jumped from the 3,350 meters.
Yep.
And she left the sitting position and flattened out at about 1,800 meters and deployed her chute at 1,100 meters because there's that time to
a kilometer
slow
up.
down. Yep. Except her main chute failed.
Okay.
She said she looked up and there was just nothing there. Now, normally you'd cut away from that and deploy your reserve chute, but Christine decided to pull her reserve first and let her main clear.
Uh-oh.
Now, I'm not sure if this made a difference in what happened next, but the force of the reserve opening caused some of the lines to snap and others to twist, and now she was spiraling out of control towards the ground. She actually come down. She hit some power lines.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Zippy zap.
And some people who were driving past saw her come down, hit the lines, and decided to stop and assist. I don't actually think she got shocked. She just kind of like hit some lines.
Might have just hit like single line.
Yeah, hit some lines. The man was quite amazed to find Christine alive and conscious when he got there.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
See someone fall from the sky, you're like, oh no.
No, yep.
I'm going to see a pancake.
Then you get there and you're like, oh, g'day. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Christine said she had a similar thoughts to James.
Yeah.
As she fell, thinking about her family and fiancé.
Fiance.
Oh, I thought there was more to that word. You just kind of like half cut the word.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's really only natural, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And while lying on the ground, she too thought she was going to die. But she was taken to hospital for x-rays and amazingly, she only suffered a hairline fracture on her pelvic bone.
Broke her ass.
Christine,
I feel like there's a theme to these stories and it's ass breaking.
Well, there's a lot of ass breaking, really. Christine gave up skydiving after this, and a couple of months later, she got married.
Yeah, good on her.
They cancelled their plans on an adventure-filled honeymoon of skydiving and cage diving with great white sharks.
And they hid in a bunker.
And Christine spoke to her fiancé and asked, do you mind if we just do romantic dinners instead?
And he was like, oh, okay.
No, he was very accommodating.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have been.
He was also a skydiver as well, so.
Okay.
All right. Next person. I don't know why I'm getting rid of that page because it's still on the bottom of the page. Boy, Bear Grylls makes the list.
Does he?
Yeah.
I was talking about Bear Grylls today. I don't ever talk about Bear Grylls. For him to come up twice in a day is phenomenal.
And no, it wasn't while filming one of his episodes of Man vs. Wild.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bear comes in at number 5.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to call him Bear. That's his name.
Grillsy.
Or should I just call him Grillsy or Mr. Grills?
The barbecue. Because he grills.
Yeah, we got it. Thanks for explaining. So he comes.
All part of the nickname. You have to explain the whole nickname in the nickname.
Okay.
Grillsy.
So Grillsy comes in at number 5 with a height of 16,000 feet or 4,900 meters.
Okay, so he's hit big boy jumps.
He's hit big boy jumps. This was back in his SAS days in 1996.
Yeah.
Grillsy and a few of his mates were out on R&R doing some skydiving when his parachute ripped and malfunctioned.
Oh, no, not the barbecue.
At 16,000 feet.
Yeah.
He landed in the South African sand on his back,
Oof.
which still had the reserve chute packed in because he thought he had time to fix the problem.
Okay.
He broke his back in 3 places and spent the next year in and out of rehab recovering. The surgeon said Grillsy had come within a whisker of being paralysed for life. So there wasn't too much to his story. It's just his chute failed and he thought
At least he didn't break his ass.
No, his chute failed and he thought he could fix it. And
we got that close to not having
Man vs. Wild.
Yeah. And by extension, me never making the barbecue joke. Man.
So
wings of a butterfly.
There's a little bit more to the story, and this is going to start to become
What I'm hearing already is that it's surprisingly easy to not die when you fall out of a plane.
Well, these are only 8 people. I don't have the statistics on how many people have.
Well, yeah, I mean, like 8 is still more than I would have expected, to be honest.
True. So this theme that's about to start happening is actually, there's quite a lot of these stories that
Where they break their ass.
No, I wouldn't say the most interesting, but as equally interesting as falling out of a plane and surviving is what they do afterwards, what happens afterwards.
Okay. One of them became Bear Grylls.
Yeah. So amazingly, though, only 2 years after Grylls' incident, he climbed Mount Everest.
Good on him.
And became the youngest Brit to ever do it. And he almost died there too.
I'm starting to think maybe this is not the guy that we should be taking survival advice from.
What?
When you fall out of a plane,
he survived
just
twice.
hit the ground. It's easy.
On your back.
All you got to do is nothing.
The website I got the information from was actually like 5 times Bear Grylls has almost died. Number 1 was the fall. Number 2 was Everest.
How is it that that's not more well known that he survived falling out of a plane?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know until I looked this up either.
Like, why is that not part of his title? Bear Grylls survived falling out of a plane. I'd tell everyone.
I actually don't think he likes talking about it too much because he made such a silly mistake when not pulling his reserve chute.
Okay.
So I'll quickly cap over the Everest story here.
Yeah.
It was the final leg of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
4 members of his team had already perished.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
And Bear...
4 people died on this climb.
Yep.
Was this in 98?
Yes.
Yeah. 98 was the year that a whole bunch of people died up there.
Yep. And Grylls was severely dehydrated and was blind from an intense migraine.
How do I not know that Grylls was up there for this year as well? Like, why is that not part of it? Like, this is a... 98's a real... I think it's 98. It's like a really well-known year on Everest.
Yeah, at that time, statistically, 1 in 6 climbers died on the final leg.
Yeah, it was really bad back then.
But yeah, he was blind from a migraine and was really badly dehydrated.
Yeah, 1998. Oh, it was 96 Mount Everest disaster.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
But yeah, it was still, like I said, 1 in 6 people at that time in the final leg. Like a lot of people get up to that final camping area.
Yeah.
It's just that final summit. I reckon Everest probably is going to come up as an episode at some point.
I was literally just thinking I might do the 96 Everest disaster.
Well, there you go. Trailer for a future episode.
Yeah. I've also got an episode idea from Jazz, who you may remember from being mentioned a lot. James Cook, Bastard.
Is that it? You just got the title?
Yeah.
Okay. As in like the proper terminology for bastard or just...
No, just...
a prick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bastard.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to finding out.
Yeah. See if I can find enough of a story about it. Haven't looked into it at all yet. Just know the ending.
Okay, so the next 3 people, boy, are all World War II airmen.
Okay.
The first, the 4th highest distance of 18,000 feet or 5,500 metres, 5.5 Ks, is Nicholas Ackermaid.
Okay.
Nicholas was a tail gunner in an Avro Lancaster Mark II in the British RAF.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a Lancaster is?
The bomber.
Yes, it is.
Hot bomber summer.
Hey, got it. The crew of this bomber had nicknamed the plane Werewolf.
Okay.
No relevance to the story.
It only came out at night?
It did
it fight with a vampire to try and get the love of a 16-year-old?
No, it did do most of its missions at night time.
Okay.
There's no relevance to the story. I just thought it was a really cool name for a plane.
Was that plane hot without a shirt on?
No.
I'm just making Twilight references if you haven't got it.
No.
Okay.
I hate Twilight.
Please.
Team Edward. I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
I've seen your Edward Cullen tattoo. Poking through your shirt that day.
Just big back tattoo.
Just a full back piece with F Jacob on the bottom. This isn't a joke. This is legitimate.
Oh, shut up. So Werewolf and its crew had made 14 successful bombing raids, and on the 24th of March 1944, they were part of a bombing raid targeting Berlin.
Yeah.
They delivered their payload, and on the return trip home, heavy winds blew them off course, and they ended up flying over the Ruhr region, which had a very high concentration of anti-aircraft defences.
Oh, geez.
Werewolf was attacked by a German fighter plane, and its fuselage and wing were damaged heavily, and to make matters worse, the plane also caught on fire.
You know what really impresses me about that? That you were able to say that whole sentence on the first go. Good job, boy.
Thanks, boy. First try.
First try. Like, I know it's a weird thing to call out, but just I'm proud of you.
Dog seat.
Oh, now I don't know what I'm going to do.
Werewolf was beyond saving, and the pilot ordered the crew to grab their parachutes and bail out. Nicholas was all the way in the back of the plane, and as he reached for his parachute, his rubber oxygen mask started melting onto his face, and his arms started getting singed by the flames. So you got to remember that most of the crew of the plane are at the front, like your pilot, co-pilot, navigator.
Yeah.
You probably got a front gunner, top gunner, maybe a belly gunner as well.
Yeah.
The tail gunner,
Where are they?
he's in the tail, but there's like that whole section in the middle with like the bomb sections. and all
Yeah.
that. So
Fuel.
the fuel's usually in the wings.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's in the middle.
Yeah. So he's quite a distance away from everyone else.
Yeah.
He did manage to grab his parachute.
Yep.
But to his horror,
All right.
it, like everything else, was on fire.
Yeah, that's not what you want, is it?
So at this point, Nicholas had a terrible choice to make.
Yep.
Burn alive on the plane or jump.
Yeah, you're bailing out, aren't you?
Obviously, he jumped, and as he plummeted to Earth, looking back at the burning plane, backgrounded by a starry sky, he lost consciousness.
Okay.
I put that in.
That's how you want to go.
Yeah, I put that in because he made there was a note that he was looking at the plane and he could see it. It was a beautiful starry sky and he had this like burning plane going through it. Kind of makes a nice bit of a imagery apart from the people dying.
And then he went limp.
Yep. And then he lost consciousness. Nicholas woke up about 3 hours later laying in deep snow in the middle of a pine forest. It seems the young flexible pine trees had slowed him down enough that the snow was able to cushion his fall.
I really thought you were going to say. I really thought you were going to say the young flexible gunner. Just whoop, whoop, whoop. Cha, cha, cha.
Injuries?
Okay.
Want to have a stab at his
Did he
injuries?
break his ass?
No.
Wow. What a strong ass.
Apart from some burns.
Titanium ass.
Yeah, apart from some burns, he only suffered a sprained knee. No broken bones.
Wow.
But his ordeal wasn't over, as he just landed in Germany during the middle of the war.
Do you reckon anybody believed him? He's like, no, I swear I had no parachute. They're like, oh, where's your injuries,
Boy,
champ?
you are on fire.
Yeah.
I'm about to get to that. He was able to attract the attention of some locals by blowing his distress whistle and was taken to a local hospital.
Yep.
There, he was treated for his wounds, and when he was well enough, he was interrogated by the Gestapo.
Yep.
As they refused to believe he could survive a fall from a height without a parachute.
Yeah.
So they didn't believe him, like you just said. The Gestapo never believed. They believed he buried his parachute somewhere, and they thought he was a spy. That was until they sent some people to investigate the wreckage of the werewolf, finding the remains of Nicholas' parachute there.
Okay.
So then the Germans actually gave him a certificate to verify his story. They gave him like a certificate of authenticity to say, this really happened to you.
That's so
Weird.
unexpected.
I know, right? That's so weird.
9. We do not believe you. Oh, is true? Oh, I've certificate.
Yeah, they gave him a certificate. And he actually became a bit of a celebrity and met with a number of Luftwaffe officers who wanted to hear about his miraculous jump.
So unexpected from Germans at that time.
However,
to be like, let's talk to this bloke that fell out of a plane.
Yeah, I believe he was taken to some parties like where the officers were doing.
Parties?
Yeah, he was taken out of the prisoner camp that he was kept in.
It is the man with the titanium ass.
Yeah. I was just about to say that this didn't grant him any special treatment. He was sent to the notorious prison Stalag Luft 3, like every other captured Allied airman, and it was eventually repatriated in May of 1945. Apparently this prison was pretty bad. They took all their captured airmen and they'd send them out in marches in negative 22 degrees.
Yeah, it's very typical of
and stuff like that. But yeah, he had to do all that and he survived all that.
Yeah.
But he was also taken to like these places to meet with these German Luftwaffe officials and tell the story of his jump. And
why the certificate?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I read that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3 on the highest fall. From a height of, that really sounds like a game show host, from a height of 22,000 feet or 6,700 meters is American airman Alan McGee. Alan, like Nicholas, was a gunner, but he was in a B-17 Flying Fortress.
Great name. Great name. The Flying Fortress.
Yeah, well, it was a Flying Fortress.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, that's why it's called that.
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
It's an apt description.
Great name.
Alan was a ball gunner, though, so he was on the bottom of the plane.
What?
A ball gunner?
A ball gunner?
Yes, it's the one underneath the belly.
A ball gunner.
Well, it's a ball. It's shaped like a ball underneath the.
A gunner of balls.
Yes.
Okay. Carry on.
Go on, make your dirty joke here.
I don't think I need to. I think it speaks for itself.
Okay.
The best jokes go unexplained.
All right. The B-17 is a massive bomber.
Yeah.
Classed as a heavy bomber. The Lancaster I mentioned.
Bomber.
Bomber.
That one's for sure.
Yep. I forgot about that. You just said it. The Lancaster I mentioned before is a twin-engine medium bomber, and the B-17 has 4 engines and could carry 8,000 pounds of bombs for shorter range missions and 4,000 to 6,000 for longer range missions. Just a bit of interesting fact. It's 8,000 pounds of bombs. That's a
lot of bomb.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Sean really fucking hates bomber.
Oh, really?
So I'm really glad that just got in. Like, he hates it.
We used to say it all the time.
Yeah.
So on the 3rd of January 1943, Alan on board the code-named Snap, Crackle and Pop B-17.
I've heard of that one.
Have you?
Yeah.
How come?
I know the name.
Okay. I don't have it written down, but it's called Snap, Crackle and Pop because I believe Alan worked in a Kellogg's factory.
Mm. Do you know the story of cornflakes?
Yes. Was what invented to stop people masturbating.
Yeah. Can't believe that's true.
I can't believe that's true either.
Yeah. Like, how wild is that?
Yeah, so weird.
Stop jacking it. Hey, this stuff's delicious.
Yeah. How was that meant to work?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we might have to do a little bit episode. Little bit. So, where was I? Snap, Crackle and Pop launched for their 7th mission. They were to make a bombing run on the town of Saint-Nazaire in western France. As they flew over, the plane came under heavy anti-aircraft fire and Alan's ball turret became inoperable, so he decided to climb out and into the main fuselage.
Got out of the ball. Yep.
Got out of the ball. As he did this, he noticed his parachute had become damaged and he continued further up into the plane. So I believe it's a bit... hang on. I'm going to have to put this down for a second. I'm going to have to try and give you a description of the ball gunner.
Paint me a word picture, boy.
So the way the ball gunner sits in the turret,
Yep.
so he's laying on his back, kind of almost like in a fetal position with his back towards the ground, and the gun is like along his belly and going out between his feet out, right?
Yep.
And his arms are like 90 degrees up.
Yep.
And that's where the trigger is, up there.
Okay.
But he's looking along, like down his belly because that's where the sight for the gun is. It's an awkward position.
Yeah, that seems very awkward.
Yeah, and the gun would, it could turn left and right, up and down, type of thing like that.
Does he spin around with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
His parachute is on his belly.
Yeah.
So when it got hit, and that's when the parachute was damaged, when the turret became inoperable. There's a picture. Because we got so many different stories, I don't know how many pictures I'm going to be able to post up. But
4.
Yeah, this one might be one of the pictures I post. I don't know.
Yeah. Twitter can only take 4.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Screw Twitter.
Go on, have your Twitter rant. Only 4.
Why only 4? Like, I get the character limit. Why a picture limit? That doesn't make any sense.
We might just have to have a Twitter thread with all the pictures on this one, maybe.
I'm thinking about ditching Twitter, to be honest.
Really?
It's so annoying. Character limit as well. Anyway, all right. Twitter can stay. Twitter's still big in the US, and we want the US marketing budgets. So
he's climbing up out of the turret, and he's going further into the plane. And at that moment, flak fire hit the bomber again.
Okay.
This effectively ripped off the entire right wing, causing the plane to lose internal pressure.
Yeah.
This caused Alan to pass out from lack of oxygen, and it also caused him to be thrown out of the plane.
Man, like I've said it before, war is awful, but like stories like this are just bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
Like you just get sucked out of a plane.
It's about to get worse.
I would think so. He's probably going to break his ass.
I believe he was out cold the entire fall.
Yeah.
But where did he land? Any guesses? We've had a bit of a theme going lately.
In snow.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
In someone's house.
Nope.
In a big pie.
Alan actually crashed through the glass ceiling of Saint-Nazaire train station.
Wow.
The glass shattering ultimately saved his life because it kind of like dispersed the energy.
Yeah. So someone's there waiting to catch the 9:15 train to work or something.
So this wasn't.
Kaboom.
This was in a separate one I read, but there's like I think it was like a pitched glass ceiling, and it had a bunch of metal girders. So he's gone through the glass, and apparently I was when I first read it, he was on the train station.
Yeah.
No, apparently he was still up in the metal girders as well.
Oh, right.
So he's gone through the glass ceiling and then in the metal girders.
Right. Oh, jeez.
Unlike the other stories we've heard so far, Alan was badly injured.
Well, yeah.
He had sustained 28 shrapnel wounds while in the plane before he even was thrown out from the flak fire.
Yeah. And then falling through glass,
Yep.
I'm sure didn't help.
And then as for injuries from the fall, he had
Yeah.
several broken bones,
Oof.
severe facial injuries, including his nose and eyes,
Oh, not the eyes.
internal damage to his lungs and kidneys, and
Okay.
his right arm was nearly detached entirely.
Oh, not what you want at all.
But he was alive.
Okay.
He too was captured by the Germans and spent the next 2 years recovering from his injuries before being released in May of 1945.
Okay.
And I couldn't actually find it, but I wonder if,
Do you reckon they started like collecting them? They're like, get these people to a party.
well, I'm wondering if it was the same prison because they were
Yeah.
both released in May of 1945.
Yeah.
I wonder if they knew each other because that would be quite incredible.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like they must have put them together at some point. Been like, here's our 2 plane fall survivors.
Yeah. I honestly couldn't find anything, but
I wonder if he got a certificate.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's lame.
Well, not that I found anyway.
Germany at it again.
Let me just show you a quick picture, boy. I don't know if this will make it in, but I think there's like a diagram of what he looked like after the fall. Because I said he had severe facial injuries.
Am I going to be grossed out? That doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, but you can, like, there's scars and his eyes are a bit
Yeah.
weird and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're not going to include that because some of the images I found is like, it's like an art thing.
Yeah.
But then it was like, the image was also on some of the stories
Yeah.
of him. So I don't know if he did the art or if that's what he looked like but anyway, just for your knowledge, that's how the ball gunner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't look comfy at all. That looks awful. And I assume they've got to be there for like the whole flight.
Well, yeah, you imagine like they might be there for a couple of hours.
Oh, no, thank you.
All right, boy, we're at number 2. 3 stories to go, but we're at number 2 high.
Okay.
Number 2 highest.
It
Number
is.
2 highest. And the last of our World War II servicemen is Ivan,
Moat?
no.
Oh.
Kizov? I think
Okay.
Chisov. Kizov?
C-H-I.
Chizov? I don't think it's Chizov. I think it's Kizov.
C-H-I.
S-O-V.
Yeah, Chivov, sure.
Anyway, I'm going to
Chivov.
just going to call him Ivan from now on. Anyway. He fell from 23,000 feet or 7,000
That's
meters.
a long way.
It's a long way. This one happened in January 1942 when Ivan, a navigator on an Ilyushin Il bomber,
Yep.
a twin-engine bomber similar to the Lancaster, was
Yep.
ambushed by Luftwaffe fighters. The bomber was wrecked and immediately started spinning out of control, so the crew bailed out at about 23,000 feet. Ivan was wearing his parachute but didn't pull the cord out of fears that a German pilot might think he was an easy target and shoot him as he slowly drifted down defenseless underneath his canvas parachute.
Yeah, I can imagine that fear.
Is that coming through?
It probably will, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Over your voice.
So he decided he would wait until he was below the ongoing air battle, but unfortunately he passed out due to lack of oxygen.
Oh, wow.
Because of the height he was.
yeah.
So he just continued all the way down unconscious until he hit the edge of a snowy ravine at terminal velocity, which, as I said earlier, is
Did
between
he actually
100,
hit the ground at full speed?
between 120 to 140 miles per hour. So he kind of like hit the edge of the snowy ravine. Again, the snow, he was able to dissipate enough of the impact to keep him alive, and he bounced from the ravine's edge and slid, rolled, and plowed his way to the bottom of the ravine. So I guess he's kind of like maybe hit,
So he hit the ground running.
kinda.
Ran down the side.
Yeah, kind of hit down on the side and slid all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, so it's like a really sick slip and slide.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, boy.
Unconscious, remember?
Wish I'd been conscious.
I reckon that's probably half the reason some of these people survived because they were unconscious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why drunk people survive like car
Yeah.
crashes and stuff all the time because they're floppy. I don't know what's happening.
There were some nearby cavalrymen who saw Ivan fall and rushed to his aid. Again, they were surprised to find him alive and still wearing his unopened parachute. Ivan also suffered severe injuries, including spinal damage and a broken pelvis.
He broke his ass.
There you go. He was operated on. He was,
Ass alarm.
he was operated on by a surgeon.
Sorry, what did they operate on?
He just operated on him.
On his ass.
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
By surgeon Y. Gudinsky.
Okay.
And,
Why Gudinsky indeed?
Mm.
Why
And-
not Badinsky?
And he was
Thank you, folks. I'll be here all year. That's some grade A comedy.
And he was considered to be in a critical condition for the next month.
Yeah, you would expect so.
That was a good joke, by the way, boy.
Thanks, boy.
Just want to stop and point that out.
Thanks, man.
I love those memes, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Like what the joke you just made, like Reese with a spoon.
Reese
and then-
without a spoon.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love them. Can't get enough of them.
Love it.
Despite his injuries, 3 months later, Ivan was back flying missions against the Germans.
3 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I think. Half the things what they do afterwards is just like,
Yeah.
He ended up flying over 70 missions over the course of his career, which ended in 1961.
Okay. Wow. I broke my finger and I wasn't doing anything for 3 months.
This guy, after 3 months of falling from, what did I say it was? 23,000 feet,
Yeah.
was back flying planes against
Wow.
the Germans.
I mean, I guess that's wartime for you.
Just nuts.
Bonkers. And like we're a soft generation.
Well, yeah. I got nothing. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Like, there's no question about it.
We are going to pop back up, no pun intended, to position 7th on the list.
This is second last one.
This is the second last story, but
Okay.
the second lowest altitude.
So he's gained altitude by having a good story.
Yes,
I said he, but they.
you're correct because it is a she.
Oh,
I just find this story truly amazing.
okay.
Not that the others weren't.
So it's a 30,000 foot equivalent story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll finish with the world record height.
Okay.
On Christmas Eve,
It's really not a world record you want.
yeah, but they are credited in the Guinness Book.
Yeah.
Yep. On Christmas, we'll get to that. On
It'd
Christmas,
take a bold person to try and beat it.
Be that- well, you know the old mate who jumped out of the helicopter
Sure.
and landed in the net.
Yeah.
That was only at 23,000.
Only.
Well, only, but I'm not the world
Yeah.
record.
Why would you even bother?
I don't know. I have no idea. It was so stupid what he did.
If
Anyway.
you're not going to set the world record, why bother?
Yeah, well, we might as well bring it up now since we're talking about it. He did that on purpose. He jumped out of a plane, or was it a helicopter, without a parachute
Yeah.
on purpose and landed in a net. I'm sure you've seen that video. Maybe you can put that video in the
Yeah.
link tree.
Makes no sense.
I concur. So on Christmas Eve, 1971, flight.
Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Christmas miracle.
Yeah, I think you actually know this story. We'll get on it. Flight 508, a Lockheed L-188A, was scheduled to fly from the Peruvian capital, Lima, to Pucallpa,
I do know this one.
taking 17-year-old Julian Capocci
Yeah.
and her mother to visit Julian's father. The route would take the plane 493 kilometres northeast over the Amazon rainforest, and at about midday, the plane entered a dark cloud and was struck by lightning. Normally, planes being struck by lightning is harmless, but in this case, the plane's engine caught fire. This is from an interview with Julian in 2012. The plane jumped down and went into a nosedive. It was pitch black and people were screaming. Then the deep roaring of engines filled my head completely. Suddenly, the noise stopped and I was outside the plane. I was in free fall, strapped to my seat bench and hanging head over heels. The whispering of the wind was the only noise I could hear. You said that earlier that when you were skydiving, was it loud or was it just like
I said that like everything was shaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's loud.
it's loud, like just
Yeah.
the wind rushing over you?
Like
Yeah,
think you're driving your car at 100 k's an hour, stick your head out the window and see what that
or just with all the
sounds
windows
like.
down, I suppose.
Yeah, and imagine you're going twice as fast. It's there's a lot of noise.
So she was thrown from the plane, still strapped into her window seat.
I'm going to stay out of the way of this story because this one's crazy.
All right, so
just
forge ahead.
she's flying over the Amazon.
Yeah.
Lightning strikes a plane.
Yeah,
Engine catches fire. Something happens to the plane
blows up, something rips apart. She gets thrown out
in her seat.
in her seat,
So she's still strapped in her seat,
in the whole row.
free falling.
This, like I said, this happened at about 10,000 feet. So that's the height we're at. We're at 10,000 feet, or 3,048 meters. Like a lot of people we've talked about, Julianne blacked out, but it wasn't from lack of oxygen. It was from the rapid spinning.
Yeah.
So she's just, you said you spin fast. I'm assuming because the seat's not symmetrical. She is just, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the rotation? Her rotation, her
Centrifugal. force.
RPMs are just
Yes. Revs.
revs. Yep. Revs. She crashed through the 30 meters of thick branches and leaves of the Amazon rainforest canopy, and the seat broke her fall. She had survived, only suffering a broken collarbone, swollen eye, a torn ACL, and partially fractured shin, and some cuts on her arms and legs.
Another titanium ass.
She spent a day slipping in and out of consciousness, and then for hours after that, not being able to stand because she was still very dizzy. So she must have been spinning a lot for it to be a whole day
Yeah.
and then a couple of hours still too dizzy to stand.
Do you remember that video of the chick getting airlifted by the helicopter?
Oh, yeah, just Yeah.
Like, I know that she had a terrible experience and she was really badly injured from that.
But everyone who's seen the video.
Really, really funny.
Is that another Linktree video we're going to
Yeah,
put?
for sure. Oh, I'm going to have to remember this.
As she came to, she realised the situation she was in. She was in the middle of the Amazon. She had lost her glasses, one of her sandals, and was wearing a sleeveless mini dress. Not exactly jungle attire.
No.
But Julianne may have just been the only 17-year-old on the planet that could survive this. Her father was a famed biologist, and her mother was a barrier-breaking
Orthodontist?
No.
Oh. Orthopedic surgeon?
Ornithologist.
Okay. Ornithologist.
I was meant to look that up, and I haven't. So let's do that now.
Is it plants?
No, that's a botanist, isn't it?
Ornithologist.
Yes, ornithologist.
Okay, Google. What's an ornithologist? Most likely that won't have been picked up, but it was a person who studies birds.
I don't know why I don't know that.
Yeah, why don't you know that? You're a bird guy.
I know. I don't know. Well, I know that now.
You're a bird boy. I'm going to get hammered with bird advertising now. Hammered.
Let me know if there's any good deals.
Oh, it's going to be the dumbest stuff.
Before the crash, she had spent a year and a half at her parents' research station, so she knew a lot about the rainforest.
Yeah.
One of the things she would do as she attempted to walk out of the forest, which made her progress slow, was every few steps she would stop and throw her remaining sandal at the ground to frighten away any snakes or anything that could harm her.
Smart move.
It is quite smart. Maybe we should be getting survival tips from her and not Bear Grylls.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
She
To be
also
fair, they've both survived plane issues.
Yep.
So.
She also found a bag of lollies,
Okay.
which would be the only food she would eat for the next 10 days.
What lollies do you know?
No,
Oh.
didn't say.
I was going to say ringing endorsement for them. Let's just say Allen's Snakes.
Because it's
Yeah.
the Amazon.
Sure. Not because they're like quite feasibly a company that could hear this and
Oh, okay.
might want to get involved.
Alan's Red Frogs. Is
Yeah.
it? Yep. She followed the advice of her father,
Yep.
which was if you find a creek, follow it because it will lead you to a stream and a stream will lead you to a river. And that's where you will find help. And she did just that. She came across a large river to which she actually walked in because it helped her avoid most of the difficult terrain of the rainforest. But it came with its own challenges. Crocodiles, for example.
Crocodiles.
Yep, for example.
Yep.
She
I
said,
think I'd take the rainforest over the crocodiles.
I don't know. She said she saw a few of them enter the water as she approached. And then she said she believed that crocodiles didn't really attack humans, which for
They
us living
absolutely do.
for us living in Australia and especially
Yeah.
people in northern Queensland.
Yeah, they
They absolutely-
absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, she got through it. Speaking of the wildlife, she was surprised at how tame the animals were around her, deers and monkeys, etc.
Okay.
But that also troubled her because the animals didn't know what humans look like, which made her think that there wasn't really
Anyone nearby.
correct.
Yeah.
For the first few days, Julianne could hear search planes, but due to the thick forest canopy, they were unable to see her.
Yeah, of course.
After a few days, she stopped hearing them. At one point, too, the gash on her arm, like I said, she's got some cuts and
Yeah,
scratches from
yeah.
it became infected and a fly had laid eggs in it and
Oh.
maggots had began eating her flesh.
Isn't that not a bad thing in some circumstances?
Yeah, I guess not because they're actually eating the dead tissue, which is
Yeah.
probably a good part. Yeah, because maggots don't eat live tissue. I believe it's only dead tissue.
Yeah. Like, I know it's super gross, but it's apparently not too bad.
On day 10, she was quite weak and fell asleep by a riverbed. And as she woke up, she saw an empty boat and started making her way towards it. From there, she found a path that led up to an empty hut and a barrel of diesel. Again, knowledge from her father, she knew to pour the diesel on her wound, which was quite painful, but it
Yeah.
brought the maggots to the surface where she was able to pick them out.
Yeah.
She considered taking the boat to find help, but she didn't want to steal it. So
What a legend.
I know. So she decided to stay in the hut for the night.
Okay.
This is a side note. In that part of Peru, locals believed in water spirits called Yemanja.
Okay.
According to the folklore, the Yemanja are pale and blonde, unlike almost anybody else in that part of the country. So when their lumber workers came through the clearing and they saw Julianne, they thought they were seeing a water spirit because she's just been in the jungle for 10 days.
She's all
young,
filthy.
blonde. Yep.
Yeah.
The workers gave her food and cared for her wounds and took her to a nearby village where she was able to be flown to Pucallpa to be reunited with her father. While in hospital, authorities actually came and asked Julianne for directions to the crash site because it still wasn't found, to which she was able to do.
Wow.
Out of the 91 people on board, she was the only survivor.
Jeez.
pretty incredible. Like,
Yeah.
17-year-old girl in the middle of the
Not
Amazon.
only does she survive a freaking plane crash,
Yeah.
she then survives.
Well, she didn't even survive the plane crash. She survived.
Yeah, she survived being ejected from a plane
Yeah.
crash, and then survives 10 days in the forest with just some snakes, some Allen snakes. Allen snakes, they'll keep you alive. Allen snakes, recommended by 9 out of 10 doctors. Allen snakes, proven by the Amazon. All those are free to be used with royalties.
So they're not free to
They're
be
not
used.
free at all. Pay me big bucks, please. Allen's Confectionery Company. I would like royalties.
Love Allen's.
So do I.
Lollies.
You know what? My favorite lollies. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go to a party and if there's not a bowl of Allen's lollies,
If there's not a bowl
get
of
out of
Allen's
there.
lollies, punch the host in the face
and then leave.
and then never speak to them again. That's some Aaron Payne advice. Sock them in the teeth,
Yeah, I've never seen Aaron throw a punch in his life, so
please.
it's probably because there's always been
Probably because there's always
Allen's
Allen's lollies at your parties. And don't you forget it.
So I got one last little bit of interesting information about this story.
Yeah.
There were two movies made about Julianne's story.
Sure.
One in 1974 and the second one, Wings of Hope, in 1998.
Wow.
The interesting thing here,
Seen
boy.
either of them?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Have you?
No.
The interesting thing here, boy,
Yeah.
is that the director of that film, of Wings of Hope, was actually meant to be on the flight, but had a last-minute itinerary change.
Wow. Small world, eh?
Yeah, incredible.
Crazy.
And now,
James Cameron was actually meant to be on the Titanic.
no, he wasn't.
Got him.
Go get me, boy.
Another classic gag.
You got to get up pretty early to catch this.
You get up pretty early to beat the JSAB.
Yep. And now, boy, can you edit in a little bit of a drum roll here for the person who holds the Guinness World Record for the highest fall without a parachute?
I'm not going to make any promises that I'll do that, but sure.
Okay. Coming in at a height of 3
3
Yeah.
feet. It's John outside before he jumped off the roof.
That's a bit higher than 3
Oh,
feet.
geez, he doubled his height.
That's like jumping off the coffee table. Coming in with a height of
Can't believe he didn't break his ass.
titanium ass. Imagine that for a superpower. What's your superpower? Have a titanium ass.
Let's have a wombat ass.
Isn't that pretty much what Wolverine has? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's adamantium.
his whole body is, but
Yeah. I mean, it's wombat ass, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know, wombats have really hard asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They-
Don't hit a wombat ass first with your car.
I actually, true. I actually believe that one of the ways they kill other animals is they squish them in their burrows with their ass.
Just iconic animal. Mascot of the show.
And
Let's
square
say
poo.
that. Yeah.
They have a
that's
hard
right.
ass that
Cube
comes
poos.
out cube poos.
Yeah. Cube poops.
So the world record height here is 33,330 feet or 10,150 meters. That's 10 kilometers.
That's a long way up.
That's so far up.
Yeah.
You're the space nut.
Yeah.
How far is the atmosphere?
Well, the line that most people agree is the edge of space is 100 Ks.
Okay, so only 10% of the way. That's
Yeah.
not, okay, that's,
We don't go very high in the atmosphere
No.
at all.
but it's,
Yeah.
like I said, it seems very high when you're up there.
Oh, yeah, because it is. But like compared to space, it's not.
Yeah, so Vesna Vulovic
Just for
is the
reference,
person.
geostationary satellites are like 43,000 kilometers away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very high.
Yes.
Not obviously the SpaceX satellites that
No.
fell out
They're
of
like
the sky.
120, 130.
That fell out of the sky the other week are not that high.
Yeah, no.
Saw one of those.
120, 130? I don't know. They're low
Well, of course, because 90% of them
Mm.
crashed.
of that payload. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So we're talking here about Vesna Vulovic.
Yeah.
On the 26th of January, 1972, Vesna had been working as a flight attendant for only 8 months as she boarded J80 Flight 367.
Yeah.
As it had stopped over in Copenhagen. Have you heard of this one, boy?
I
So I know you are a bit into your air crash investigations.
definitely am. Yeah. No, I don't think I have.
The flight took off at 3:15 in the afternoon on its way to, is it Belgrade?
Yeah.
Yep. 46 minutes into the flight, disaster struck. At 4:01 p.m., an explosion went off in the baggage compartment of the McDonnell Douglas DC-9 and it broke apart at 33,000 feet. So it was a terrorist bombing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just need to quickly correct myself too. It's 36,000 kilometers, not 40
Okay.
for geostationary.
Sure.
Very upset with myself.
And no one would have known.
I couldn't go on knowing that
Okay.
I'd done that. So
Fair enough.
all right. So McDonnell Douglas gone boom.
Yeah, terrorist attacked.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the politics of it, but yeah, it was definite terrorist attack.
A big no.
Investigators.
Aaron and John say no to terrorism.
Correct. So yeah, it broke apart and
Sorry, I'm just getting some news feeds. All terrorist organizations have just given up. They're like,
I thought they were going to say they unsubscribed from Cheeky Tales.
no, all terrorist organizations disband. Oh, well, there you go. Cool.
Power of Cheeky Tales. So yeah, it broke apart. So there's like the tail section and midsection and all different pieces come crashing down. Investigators attributed Vesna's survival to being pinned against the fuselage by a food cart.
Nice.
And the part of the plane she was in landed at an angle in a heavily wooded, snow-covered area. So again, trees
Snow
and
saves
snow.
the day. Yep.
Saves.
Snaves the snay.
Snaves the day.
John Savage, word expert.
Unfortunately, when the plane broke apart and depressurized, the other 27 passengers and flight crew were blown out of the aircraft. And again, Vesna was the only survivor of this crash.
Yeah.
One of the other things credited to Vesna's survival was her low blood pressure, as it caused her to pass out quickly from the depressurization and it stopped her heart from bursting during the impact.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't want to think about your heart bursting.
Yeah, just from the impact. And
Yeah.
just too much pressure. Like, yeah.
Too much pud.
She was well aware of her history with low blood pressure because
Too relaxed.
I don't get that one.
Well, then you're stressed. High blood pressure.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, she was well aware of her low blood pressure
Okay.
because she knew she would fail the medical examination because of it. So therefore, she drank an excessive amount of coffee
Oh, jeez.
before the examination to pass it.
I like that.
Yep.
Guys, can we do this right now? Because I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So the wreckage was found.
I'm going to poop my pants if you don't do this right now.
Is that everyone? Is everyone?
I get that real bad.
Yeah. Well, just too much. Thanks. Didn't need to know.
Slip.
Yeah.
Plop.
Dump out like a parachute.
Not the only time I've dumped out.
So the wreckage was found near Sabask Kamens, a village in Czechoslovakia.
Nice.
She was found screaming, covered in blood, by an ex-World War II medic, Bruno Honk.
Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He kept her alive until rescue was arrived.
Found screaming.
Yeah, she was, yeah. Apparently,
That's not how you want to be.
yeah, apparently she was yelling. Her 3-inch stilettos were broken off and gone. Her nice turquoise blouse was covered in blood.
Yeah, no, that's what you should be worried about. Your stilettos and your dress.
Still pinned against the side of the plane by the food cart.
Oh, probably pissed off she couldn't get to the snacks.
Snacks were right there.
Probably couldn't reach them. That'd piss me off.
Her injuries included a fractured skull,
Oh.
2 crushed vertebrae,
Oh.
and had broken several ribs, her pelvis, and both legs.
Broke her ass. Okay.
All you care about.
No wombat ass on this woman.
There are varying reports on how long she was in a coma for after going to hospital. Let's just say it was between 10 and 24 days.
Okay.
She was also temporarily paralyzed from the waist down and had amnesia from an hour before boarding the plane till about a month afterward, after the incident.
Jeez.
She spent about 16 months in hospital recovering. Vesna also became quite the celebrity
Yeah.
and was celebrated as a national hero.
I would imagine.
And that's it. That is
Wow.
the end of all these amazing stories of survival from these 8 people. Just incredible. Like I said, half the interesting thing is just what they did afterwards.
Yeah.
Like walking through
The Amazon
Amazon.
one's it for me.
3 months later, back in a plane
Yeah.
fighting,
Just
crashing through a glass ceiling. Like, what? How do you...
whole new meaning to breaking the glass ceiling.
Yeah, just the wrong way. Well,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
so yeah, that's it, boy. That's
Great stories, boy. Good job.
Oh man, yeah. I was very excited to tell you those because
Yeah.
some of those stories are just like, how is this person still alive?
Alive. Yeah.
Actually, in saying that, I think the only person who is still alive is Julianne.
Bear Grylls.
Oh no, and Bear Grylls, obviously.
Old Barbie.
So for some reason, I thought Julianne was the only person, but no, it's Julianne, Bear, and James,
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and possibly the second person. I took Christine.
Okay, so
Mackenzie's
4
alive.
of them are definitely
never mind.
alive still.
Never mind.
Half the stories are still alive, only.
I know Vesna, she died when she was 66 a couple of years ago.
Oh.
And the World War II servicemen as well.
I just said rip like jokingly. She's actually dead.
Yeah.
That was pretty heartless.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's a bit of a pun because we've been talking about parachutes all night.
True. You know what? Staying in now.
Yeah, well, it's your call. You listen back to it. And,
Good episode, boy.
thanks, boy. I've been meaning to do this one for a little while.
This was actually, I think, you wanted to do this at like episode 2.
Yeah.
Like before you did Midway, you were like, oh, I think this is my story, you know.
Yeah, because I knew Julianne's story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was what kicked off finding the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because, that's just an incredible tale of survival.
It
to be honest.
really is, yeah.
Was there an Aircraft Investigations episode on it? If people want to look a bit more into it?
I think so. There's been so many episodes, I can't
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, quite probably.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
go find Wings of Hope.
Yep.
The movie. I'm
Give that a stream.
sure that's out there somewhere. You want to pay for it so I can watch it on Amazon, boy? Or
No. Thank you for reminding me of that again. Ugh. Do you want to do the wrap up this week?
Oh, you always do it.
That's why I'm offering you.
No, you can do it.
All right.
So thanks for listening to Cheeky Tales.
Dog seat.
You can find us on the socials at Cheeky Tales Pod.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Even though I don't like Twitter.
Hopefully you've already found us on our podcast sites where we host a podcast or where the people host our podcast.
Yep.
If you can give that a share, through word of mouth, our listener base will grow. That would be great. We appreciate it. Share it with someone who likes flying.
Someone who likes not breaking their ass.
Someone who has a titanium ass.
Share it with someone with a titanium ass. Just share it.
Yeah.
It would be really good if you could share it.
That'd be great. We started off trying not to beg for that, but
it is like, honestly, it's the only way that podcasts grow when they're this size.
Yep.
And if it grows, then we can do more.
Share it with someone who works at Alan's Lollies.
Please share it with all of your contacts at Alan's Lollies. John and I can't make it clear enough that we love Alan's Lollies.
Next episode is just going to be us going, just chewing.
I love the flavour of Alan's Lollies. Which flavour in particular, boy? The red frogs.
Orange snakes.
Orange snakes are probably the best snake.
Yeah.
I have become partial to green ones as I grow up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bit of lime.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening. We didn't actually get back into the NFL chat, did we?
No. And I like it's late in the episode, but I think your pain should be shared. The Bengals sadly lost in the late stages of the Super Bowl.
Minute 40 to go.
They lost by 3 points, was it?
Yes. I'm not going to get into the officiating. We'll just leave that be.
It was not great. There was a lot of missed calls early in the game on both sides.
Yep.
And then some rubbish calls at the end. But you know what? They had their opportunities.
They did.
And I had a great time. I drank some delicious, expensive beer.
It
Cool
was
Ranch Doritos.
It was a good game to watch.
It was, yeah.
It was the very entertaining sections of the game. Amazing halftime show.
So good. Who expected Spider Cent?
That's right. Upside down, 50 Cent.
Fitty man.
A lot of people call him Dollar Fitty.
He
Actually, no.
you know what? He's a middle-aged man.
Yeah,
like,
to be fair, he looked good still.
he looked fine.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't look.
He just like he's not 20 anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? He's a middle-aged man.
He didn't look obese or anything like that. He was just solid.
And like, you could tell that he didn't want to be hanging upside down, to be honest. like, let's all be honest about that bit.
What did he sing half the song upside down?
Yeah. Something like that.
And then he was having a good look at his dances. I did notice. Did you notice that? He was having a good look at his dances.
I did not notice that, but I wouldn't be surprised with Fitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a good game. We had our little get together, which was nice.
Our traditional
Everyone's
get together.
supporting my team.
Yeah. That was nice.
And they lost.
And then we all went home.
Yep.
Sad.
Anyway,
now that we finished
NFL chat. NFL wrap up.
This has been Footy Chat.
Gridiron Gobbings. I don't know.
I will not be on a podcast called Gridiron Gobbings.
What's a word that starts with G that means talking?
Gridiron Gabbing?
That's probably better. Gridiron Gabs.
Gobbing?
Thanks for listening. We'll be back in
2 weeks.
with Aaron's episode.
Yeah, I got a couple ideas. I haven't settled on one yet. I'm sure I will, fear as I write it. So
2 days before we record.
yeah, that'll be it. Anyway, I'll speak to you then. Bye.
Bye. Little bit.
No, like I will openly admit to being a maths maniac. Just not this season. I haven't watched any of it this year.
Do you ever debate it at work? The people?
Last year I did. There was people that were watching it last year, and
So
we'd get together at lunch
you were
and be
maths
like,
debating at work. Set him up, knocked him down, got him.
I don't get the joke. Can you explain it? Can you explain that joke for me, please?
No, you get it.
I don't actually.
The look on your face.
I was very mad at you there.